Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Entertainment Podcast, your source for all things entertainment. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Mandy Ross on the line, and she's a TV host, media personality, and a content creator. Mandy, welcome to the show.
Adam, thank you so much for the warm welcome. I'm really excited to be joining you today.
So excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to talk about something that's super relevant, which is how to be your own life cheerleader. So we're going to get into that. But before we do, I want to give the audience just a little bit of kind of more of a background on some of the content, some of the projects you're working on. I know you have a YouTube channel, podcast. I mean, it's hard for me to keep up with you. Where do you want to start with that one?
Oh, thank you for the opportunity to talk about one of my biggest passions, which is creating uplifting content. And so just a little bit about my background. Educationally speaking, I went to school for journalism and I graduated with honors. My program actually, in the last year of my program, I did specialize in broadcasting and also took print, but they saw the way the industry was going in terms of media and journalism, and they allowed my graduating class to partake in a number of courses that had to do with online digital journalism. And I think that's really when the seed was originally planted for me, thinking, like, when I graduated, it wasn't just a matter of, the cookie cutter, okay, I'm done with journalism school, I'm going to try and get a job at a news station now. It was kind of like, okay, now I have free reign of not only the media, standard media world, but this whole other world of digital content creation opened itself up to me. And it really was divine timing, because that's kind of when, the big beginning of sort of the Facebooks, Twitter, like that stuff started getting popular. So it was kind of the divine timing in my life, along with the industry, the way it was flowing. And so some of the projects I've been involved with, I've roughly been in the media industry now for about 10 years. And I've hosted for a number of different networks on TV. I've worked in radio, had a number of things published print-wise. And I've done a ton of work when it comes to freelancing for digital companies as well, like YouTube channel hosting, red carpet hosting, companies hiring me to just do hosting, interviewing, as well as just tons of like influencer, social media, content creation stuff. So it's just so many different hats that I've worn over the years. Now in modern time, I'm still a freelance media personality, and a TV host, but on my own side of content creation, I do have my own YouTube channel, which is just Mandy J. Ross, and I call myself a life cheerleader on that channel. And then I have my podcast, which is Pave Your Paradise Podcast, and that's created in order to help people uplift themselves and to up-level their business, their health, their relationships, and their lifestyles. And then I am all over the place doing social media content creation too. So there's a lot going on there. Yes, Adam, you're absolutely correct, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
So I think this is also a great transition. Let's get into today's topic a little bit further. So how to be your own life cheerleader. Where do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, I think it's really important to know, and I always say this in any interview that I do, it's very easy to look at someone who might be successful or accomplished in many areas and think, oh, they have the perfect life, or, oh, they don't have to go through ups and downs. But to me, the true definition of being your own life cheerleader is having that champion mindset and being able to be at one with yourself and happy with yourself when all of the external is taken away. And how did I get to that, sort of philosophy in my own life? Well, I've gone through some really low times. And in those moments when I was, having to deal with these things that would come up in my life, I realized two things. One, that no matter, there's like a meme that I see going around that's been popular over the last little while. It's something along the lines of, no matter how much yoga you do, no matter how much green juice you drink, no matter how many self-development things you partake in, if your heart and your head are not right, then none of those things are going to matter. And I think that's really important, especially in the day and time we're in, although all of those things do help you to feel healthier in your mind, your body, and your spirit. If you don't take care of what's going on inside, there is no way that stuff's ever going to help in the same way. So I think that's a really big kind of takeaway as to what that life cheerleader means. And then on the other end of the spectrum, I think it's really easy to allow externals, again, to kind of be a Band-Aid for not dealing with stuff that you need to inside. And so for me, being your own life cheerleader is saying, hey, I matter enough to stand up for myself, to know my own self-worth, to have self-respect, and really just to love myself for who I am. And it's not about being perfect, because none of us are perfect. It's about progressing every single day and seeing that own journey of growth within. And then when you see that, you become your own best cheerleader for life.
No, I love it. And where do you think, I know you hinted towards a couple different angles, but I know this is going to change from person to person, obviously. But what do you think is one of those kind of like big themes that keep people from being their own life cheerleader? Like, what's one of those things that kind of holds people back that you found?
That's a beautiful question. I would say they kind of go hand in hand. I think awareness is a huge one, and also radical honesty. I think awareness and radical honesty, and both need to be present, because you might be honest to a certain degree with yourself, but you might not have the awareness to actually be able to acknowledge what's really going on. And then vice versa, you might be aware of some of the things that, say, have happened to you, and you have this sensation that, maybe that's playing a role in your life. But if you can't be radically honest with yourself first and foremost, that's not going to matter at the end of the day. So I think those two are the two I would start with. And those are not easy to start with, let me tell you. But if you want to
those are lifelong battles right there. I know.
Work in progress, right? Like, I totally feel you, Adam. I know. They're not the easiest, but if you can at least start to become more aware of, let me tap into how I'm feeling. Like, why do I feel a certain way? Why am I triggered around a certain topic? And then with that radical honesty, I'm not going to say that other people's opinions ever matter more than your own, but if you continually are lying to yourself, maybe those people who care about you the most, if you have those kind of other cheerleaders in your life who are telling you, lift, like, I love you and I care about you, and I notice this kind of negative pattern keeps coming up, maybe that's a conversation you need to have with yourself. And in that conversation, you need to be radically honest about what is really going on.
Love it. So, Mandy, I can talk to you about this all day long, because now I'm feeling all like I'm a cheerleader. I want to cheer something too. Your content sounds so much fun. So that being said,
it's magnetic. It is magnetic, though. That's the thing, and that's the one thing I want to stress. Like, when you start becoming that cheerleader for yourself and knowing your own self-worth and cheering yourself on in life, you then naturally radiate this beautiful energy out to other people that they can do it too. And that's the key takeaway in all of this. It's like, how can we all cheer each other on at the end of the day?
Yeah, love it. And on that note, if somebody's listening to this right now and they want to connect more with you, Mandy, and your brand, on your podcast, on YouTube, all the products you have going, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Yeah, I pretty much exist on all the main social media apps. Every single one, I am Mandy J. Ross, so it's MandyJRoss. Except for Facebook, it's /Mandy Jessica Ross. And then on YouTube is really one of my biggest passions right now, is putting out amazing content on YouTube, which you can just search Mandy J. Ross on YouTube. And then everything that I have going on is all housed under my website. And again, it's just www.mandyjross.com. And if you are looking for my podcast, then that is usually under Pave Your Paradise.
Fantastic. Well, Mandy, it's been great having you on the show today. Appreciate you coming on, sharing more about the projects you're working and how everybody can be their own best cheerleader in life. So great stuff there. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Entertainment, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the comment section. I mean, love to know what kind of projects and things you're working on. And Mandy, thanks again for coming on the show.